places so they can escape just now from their parents and go and have a bit of fun. And as they do so, one of the features that we have of these journey services is to allow you a few moments just to ponder on what we kind of call our thought for the day. In the last few weeks, it's been mentioned several times that our church is a hospital for the sick and not a country club. It's a great illustration of how we should see ourselves. And today, the theme of our service is about healing. So, as the parents go off and come back into the hall from dropping their little ones off, I'd like you to take a few moments to just think and ponder on the following question, which should appear magically on the screen. What does God healing us today mean to you? So just take a few moments just to think about that as we wait on the folks coming back. I'm just going to invite Peter Willett to come and read our scriptures for today. Thank you.
The reading is actually printed out on your tables. I've pinched yours, I'm afraid. It takes place after Jesus has completed his, what we call the Sermon on the Mount. So then, when Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said, "be clean." Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, "See that you don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them." When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. "Lord," he said, "my servant lies at home, paralyzed, suffering terribly." Jesus said to him, "Shall I come and heal him?" The centurion replied, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. But just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes. And that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed and said to those following him, "Truly, I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such faith. I say to you that many will come from the east and the west and will take their places at the feast with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But The subjects of the kingdom will be thrown aside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then Jesus said to the centurion, "Go, let it be done just as you believed it would." And this servant was healed at that moment. When Jesus came into Peter's house, he saw Peter's mother-in-law lying in a bed with fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she got up and began to wait on them. When evening came, many who were demon-possessed were brought to him, and he drove out the spirits with a word and healed the sick. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet Isaiah. He took our infirmities and bore our diseases. While he was saying this, a synagogue leader came and knelt before him and said, "My daughter's just died, but come and put your hand on her, and she will live." Jesus got up and went with him, and so did the disciples. Just then, a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Jesus turned and saw her. "Take heart, daughter," he said. "Your faith has healed you." And the woman was healed at that moment. When Jesus entered the synagogue leader's house and saw the noisy crowd and people playing pipes, he said, "Go away. The girl is not dead, but asleep." They laughed at him. After the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took the girl by the hand, and she got up. News of this spread through all the region. As Jesus went on from there, 2 blind men followed him, calling out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." When he had gone indoors, the blind men came to him, and he asked them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" "Yes, Lord," they replied. Then he touched their eyes and said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." And their sight was restored. Jesus warned them sternly, "See that no one knows about this." But they went out and spread the news about him all over the region. While they were going out, a man who was demon-possessed and could not talk was brought to Jesus. And when the demon was driven out, the man who had been mute spoke. The crowd was amazed and said, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel."
Thank you, Peter, for reading those passages so beautifully. Thank you. So following on from these passages, and perhaps linking into the personal reflection that you've just had a few moments ago, we want to give you some time now to chat around your tables about these passages, and perhaps also about some of your thoughts and experiences on healing. We're not going to ask for feedback to the main group at the end of the session, so you can all relax. Nobody has to take notes. And as a starting point, there will be some questions that will appear magically on the screen. There we go. Thank you, Adrian. You don't have to answer them all. They're just a starting point. Answer as many or as few as suits your group. And I'm going to give you a bit of time to do this, and I'll come back and give you a 1-minute warning so that you know when it's time to wrap up your conversations. And if you're at a table where there's maybe just 1 or 2 of you, you might want to join with another table, or you might just want to chat the 2 of you. I don't mind. Whatever works for you guys. I'm sure each one of us will have had different views and experiences of healing, whether that is healing of a physical disease, a psychological condition, or emotional or spiritual healing. Some of us may have experienced times when God has stepped in to heal either ourselves or someone else through an unexplained miraculous event or through medical intervention. Some of us may not have been aware of God's hand in the healing process at all. And still others of us may have felt despair and heartbreak when God seemingly chooses not to heal. Our individual views of healing will be diverse and complex. Some of us are able to sit with our arms open wide, awaiting whatever God wants to do in our lives. Others of us may feel less sure that He is able and willing to intervene. Most of us will have been in both these places and everywhere in between at some point in our lives. But wherever you find yourself today, be assured that it's okay with God. I'm going to hand back over to Rebecca and Debbie and Alan to lead us in a further time of worship.